Sorry to see you're not feeling well, Abu Talib.
I doubt that. If I die, the rule of this council falls to you.
Yes, with Talib's death, Abu Lahab would be next in line for the custodianship of the Kaaba Inc. Funny thing, though, Muhammad had family ties too, but he had never gotten a founder's share. If you have any suspicions that Muhammad might have felt embittered for being left out of the family business and the wealth it provided, all I've got to say is, stop being so paranoid. He would never try to usurp control of the religious scam from his family by conjuring up his own god and claiming superiority to theirs, would he? Allah just happened to conveniently choose him as a prophet, that's all. Really.
Then it would be easier to deal with Muhammad, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
Well then, what I have to say may please you. Muhammad has revealed something to me. If it is false, he is yours to do with as you please. If it is true, you will end your boycott on him and all Muslims.
Why would they?
What
Who
is
is going to make them?
It is this. The boycott pact you signed and hung in the Kaaba has been eaten by insects. Except for the following words. In the name of God.
Now, hold on just a minute. We spent the whole freaking movie establishing that these are the bad guys because they are idol-worshipping polytheists. Now Badar International expects us to believe that these bad boys wrote the words, "in the name of God," on their boycott notice? The whole reason for the boycott was to eliminate such a phrase from being written or spoken ever again. Didn't anyone think to check this film before putting it out?
Mother. Just in time to go home.
I still don't see what they're cheering about. The evil dudes were under no obligation to stop the boycott just because some paper was missing. They could have easily made a fresh copy and starved the Muslims for another 3 years until Allah finally got off his ass to help again. If it was actually him doing it the first time, that is. This is another one of those miracle stories that I can't find in any Muslim scripture, and as far as I know, is unique to this movie. That said, I am still forced to conclude that the Kaaba custodians are infinitely more powerful than Allah, and if there was a half-intelligent person in the bunch, Muhammad would have been silenced years ago.
A little season of peace.
Oh, it looks wonderful.
Thank you, Jalila. Malik?
Jalila, come quickly. The Prophet's wife is sick.
Khadija? Oh no.
Go, Jalila.
Ah yes, Khadija, Muhammad's elderly wife. The movie isn't going to tell you this, but it's likely she died of old age. You see, Muhammad's childhood was a wreck. His father died before he was born, and his mother gave him up to be suckled by a wet nurse named Halima. So it should come as no surprise that, having never known his parents, Muhammad eventually married a woman old enough to be his mother. Khadija is reported to have been a wealthy and successful merchant woman, so in one of history's great ironies, she nurtured a doctrine that would make millions of women to come powerless. Mecca before Islam, Mecca after Islam.
We called this time the Year of Sadness, because Abu Talib was dying too.
Come near, Muhammad. Quraysh asks one thing before I die. That I will get your word to leave their religion alone.
We will not attack or preach against you, if you agree not to preach against us.
Then the Prophet, peace and blessing upon him, said, I will.
Did you hear? It's over!
And quickly added, all I ask is one word of assurance from you. And if you give it, all of Arabia and Persia will be yours.
Speak then!
Witness with me that there is one God, and deny all the others.
So the movie depicts Muhammad saying, "I agree not to preach against them." And then 15 seconds later, while Abu Talib is still alive, he says this. Looks like there will be no peace in death for Uncle Abu.
When they brought you to me as a boy, that you were something special. And you are. You are.
Movie, you cannot keep putting things in that aren't there. You have your Muslim characters lecturing the audience about telling the truth, so for once, just once, heed your own advice and tell it like it is. Since the good folks at Badar International appear to be allergic to the truth, I'm going to have to swoop to the rescue once again. Ishaq, 191. Abu Jahl, with sundry other notables, went to Abu Talib and said, "We acknowledge your rank with us, but now that you are at the point of death, we are deeply concerned. You know the trouble that exists between us and your nephew, so call him and let us make an agreement that he will leave us alone and we will leave him alone." The messenger arrived, and Abu said, "Nephew, these noble men have come to give you something and gain something in return." Muhammad said, "Can you give me words by which you can rule the Arabs and subject the Persians to you?" "How about 10 words?" Abu Jahl said, knowing the drill. Muhammad replied, "You must say, 'There is no ilah (God) but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger.'" They clapped their hands and said, "Do you want us to make all the illahs into one ilah, Muhammad? That would be an extraordinary thing." They were chafing at the thought. Ishaq, 192. "If you say these words, Uncle Abu, then I shall be able to intercede for you on Resurrection Day." Abu Talib didn't and died. His brother Abbas claimed that on his deathbed he moved his lips, so Abbas came running to Muhammad and said, "Nephew, my brother has spoken the words you gave him to say." The apostle replied, "I didn't hear them." Bukhari, Volume 5, Book 58, number 222. A Muslim said to the Prophet, "You were not of any help to your uncle Abu Talib, even though he used to protect you." The Prophet said, "He is in a shallow fire, and if it had not been for me, he would be at the bottom of the hellfire." This movie depicts Abu Talib as a Muslim, but he was never one. He was a noble man who looked out for the family, even his despicable nephew Muhammad, but his good character is proof that he remained free of the influence of Islam.
My day has finally arrived. I am now your leader.
Yes. Well, in name at least.
What?
Call yourself king if you want. But don't ever get in my way. Good. Now let's solve problem number 1, shall we?
The Muslims.
No. Muhammad.
This never would have been a problem if freaking Muhammad had an ounce of courtesy. Look, Muslims mooning heaven while turning their faces towards hell. How appropriate.
Stand to see them praying and walking around so free. Peace, Abu Jahl. Where swords have failed us, words shall cut deep. Ah, our poets! They're turning the people against Muhammad as we speak. Even Abu Lahab is doing well.
Beware, friends from afar. My nephew over there has revolution in his heart. Revolution? He says he's a prophet. But what he really wants is to make himself king over us all.
Well, yeah. I mean, the scripture says that Uncle Lahab only called Muhammad a liar, not a wannabe king, but that's true too. When Muhammad eventually attacked and conquered Mecca with swords, because he couldn't do it with words, this was what he said to the people he'd grown up with. Tabari 8, verse 181. "People of the Quraysh, Allah has taken from you the haughtiness of the time of ignorance and its veneration of ancestors. For now I have humbled you, made you Muslims, submissive unto me. People of the Quraysh and people of Mecca, what do you think I intend to do with you? So, Abu Lahab was accurate in his accusations. Now, don't get me wrong, unlike Uncle Abu Talib, Lahab really was a douchebag, but at least he was right.
When Muhammad says our ways are wicked, when he says our gods are nothing more than silent stone, he's not only attacking you, he's attacking your fathers.
Hey, I apologize for the sound being out of whack.
Saying they were wicked and stupid. Shall we endure such dishonor?
Won't be long before the beatings begin.
Now there's no Abu Talib to protect us, and nowhere to go.
Bilal, right?
Yes, do I?
I'm Bara. I came last year with 12 others to hear the Prophet.
Ah, from Yathrib, yes!
We follow Islam now, with all our hearts.
You hear that? 12 believers in Yathrib.
No, hundreds. The Prophet must come to Yathrib.
This may seem subtle right now, but it is actually the turning point in Muhammad's pitiful career. As usual, I have to correct something. There were not Muslims in Yathrib, as this less than honest movie insists. Islamic hadith declares that Muhammad couldn't even convince the people who came to Mecca that he was a prophet, much less folks living a distance away. This is what it was really like. Ishaq 194. The apostle offered himself to the Arab tribes at the pilgrimage fairs whenever an opportunity arose. He used to ask them to believe in him and protect him. Ishaq 195. The apostle stopped by the Arab encampments and told them that he was the prophet of Allah, ordering them to worship him, to believe in his messenger, and to protect him until Allah made his purpose plain. He went to the tents of Kinda and offered himself to them, but they declined. He went to the Abdallah clan with the same message, but they would not heed. The apostle went to the Hanifa, where he met with the worst reception of all. He tried the Emir, but one of them said, I suppose you want us to protect you from the Arabs with our lives, and then if you prevail, somebody else will reap the benefits. Thank you, no. The unparalleled beauty of the Quran doesn't seem to be seducing very many. So finally Muhammad spots one group of Arabs from Yathrib and proselytizes Islam to them. I'll get more into that in just a moment, though.
We can't talk now. The messenger of God will meet you
Allah.
on the hill at Al-Aqaba tonight.